Welcome back to another episode of Not Just Another Story. This week we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're actually giving a review of the Premier League just over halfway through. Most teams have played 21 games now, and we've got two returning guests on the show, Chico and Alex. Welcome back, boys.
Good to be back, bro. Good to be back.
And for the audience as well, as you can see, I've let the side down. I'm the only one who hasn't came repping his team. Chico's got his Liverpool shirt on, and Alex is obviously repping the Monks. Probably a topic he doesn't want to spend too much time on today. So, lads, today we literally just briefly obviously went over it. Just quick review of how each team think we are going to do and how they're doing. So, starting off, rock bottom of the table is Southampton. So, Southampton have, if I'm being honest, I think they're going to potentially do a derby, and I think they're going to probably finish either on less points or equal points of what Derby did with 11. I just can't see them picking up points much at the minute. I don't really think they've got the players to do it. They've played 21 games, won 1, drew 13 and lost 17.
Well,
So,
Dude, I didn't know the form was that bad.
yeah. When I looked at it, I didn't realise how bad, because I think they play some good football.
Yeah, that's
But
what's the draws. I didn't know that it's those losses, bro. That's
yeah, and I'm pretty sure they've lost already to teams there or thereabouts in that relegation scrap. I know they should have picked 3 points up the other night in the relegation scrap with Man U,
oh,
but
I'll be honest. With you saying that, they were brilliant.
well,
They were they got the game plan all right, and it wasn't until they decided they made a few changes and brought in more of like a defensive structure in the 80th minute, and then as soon as they lost all that attacking ability, that's when we could like counter. So
yeah,
it actually worked. It worked for us really really well.
yeah,
Um, But up until then, they were absolutely running us ragged. They should
yeah,
probably be sitting on about 9 points right now. But obviously, we won't go into that until we get to that team. But one man turned up, and that's
yeah,
what it's all about.
nah, that's the thing I've noticed with them. It's the final third. They just haven't got a goal scorer or goal
Yeah.
scorers, and that's why every time I've seen they seem to draw,
Hmm.
which is just not what they need. And obviously, when you get to this level, a draw feels like a loss. I've seen you guys like we don't like draws over here, but I'd actually just rather lose because there's no point. I can't see them doing it, and not even that the other teams above them are that much better. But at least they've got one or two players that can do something. So yeah, they're down. Like
yeah. I was
They
just gonna say, go on, Alex.
yeah, they're going down.
Yeah,
But like Chigo just said, then they've got a few really good individuals, especially excuse my ignorance because I don't know his name, but the geezer that played on the left was tearing Lenny Yoro a new one the entire game. The left winger, he was absolutely fantastic. It was a name similar to like Semenyo, but I can't. It's not Semenyo, obviously, because that's
yeah,
the other player. But he was fantastic. He was absolutely brilliant.
yeah. I've not really watched too much of Southampton this year, but the times I have, Howard Bellis looks like a
that's
good
it.
player.
Yeah, that,
Obviously Ramsdale, I still think he's a top like quality keeper. I still think he's one of the best English goalkeepers. Uh, the Southampton move was a bit strange for me though, but I don't know if it's because he's already got some form of relationship with them. But yeah,
mm,
Is
30
he
million to them.
is he not a Saints fan as well? Do you remember
Think
when he turned up to their home game and he was dressed as Hagrid or
Hagrid.
something?
Yeah, yeah. That was a
oh, right.
playoff, wasn't it? The playoff final, wasn't it?
I was
Yeah,
so
and he was in the
confused about
crowd.
that. I
In the
didn't
crowd
realize
giving
that
it
was
some.
that. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, man.
He's from Bolton or somewhere like that though, so that if he does support them, that's a weird choice.
Oh,
It's all right. I'm from Yorkshire and I support Manchester United, so
Yeah, glory supporter though you. So,
glory.
Holy-
I'll take
well,
that.
when you started supporting them, uh,
Fair enough.
but moving on to the rest of the teams, like one about Southampton. The other two teams in that relegation scrap who came up though, they look like half decent sides. They've been quite unlucky in some of the results, I think, Ipswich and Leicester. So Leicester, they're currently second bottom, 21 games played, won 3, drew 5, and lost 13. Their next 3 games are Everton, Arsenal, and Brentford.
Right.
So there's definitely 3 points in there if they get it right against Everton. I think they'll struggle against Arsenal or Brentford. Southampton, though, they've got Forest, which I can't see them beating Forest tomorrow. Then they've got Newcastle, and the way our form is, we just need to give the ball to Alex Isak. And the only game that I can see them getting something from is potentially Ipswich. But if I'm being honest, Ipswich have looked a team this season, even though some of the results haven't went their way.
Yeah.
But Leicester, I think Leicester and Southampton are both guarantees to go down. I can't see them picking up too many points in the last half of the season.
I agree.
That's it. It's just funny with Leicester because obviously Vardy gave it the big when he was coming up, saying that he was going to do it again. I was like, but like, age just caught up to him. Really, he had a good run. I thought he would still do a bit more, but that team, because obviously I grew up in Sunderland, so last season, so I still follow them because like they've got a place in my heart. Yeah, so like I said, like last year they were smashing it. Obviously when we get to Ipswich's as well, so it's quite surprising that. How many wins did you say they got?
Leicester have got 3
You got
wins.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, drew 5.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So points wise, though, Leicester are currently sitting on 14. But if I'm being honest, 16th downwards, it's been 14 to 17. So anything can happen depending on how results go. Obviously, amongst them, I just can't
Yeah.
see Leicester getting those results to creep up.
I think what's going to be tricky is Wolves. I know we'll get on to Wolves, but like you say, they're on 16 points alongside Ipswich. But I think Wolves have got so much quality in that team. I know they got spanked the other night, but they've got some fantastic players, and I think they've got enough players to actually stay up. And then Everton, the other people kind of in the mix contending with them. Obviously, David's just come back, and I obviously I've got feelings towards David Moyes, but at the same time, the feelings aren't that strong because I mean, how do you replace someone like Sir Alex? But anyway, that's another story. But I think Everton will get the job done with Moyes coming back, and I think as long as they back him, then they will. And I think that's why, unfortunately, Ipswich, as good as I think they've actually been, I mean, they got a point against us, on one of the first games in the season. I think they're likely to go down, personally.
Yeah, that leads us perfectly on Ipswich. They're 21 played, won 3 as well. Picked up a few more draws than Leicester, so they're on 7 draws and 11 losses. I think, funnily enough, Ipswich have been the better of the 3 promoted teams, but I think the other 2 have slightly better. Well, not Southampton, but Leicester definitely have better individuals within the team. So you've got that Ndidi. He's a player who's the one who plays a wide left for them. Machuidi, is it? No. Who's the left winger for Leicester? The number 10.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you.
Nah, can't remember. 40, obviously. He's still a Premier League player, in my opinion. And then that young lad who plays on the right-hand side, that Fatui or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
He is a player.
Where
No clue, but he's a serious player. We were on about, obviously, Newcastle, desperate for a right winger.
Yeah.
I would honestly take a chance on him if we wanted someone cheap.
Does he play on the right?
Injured.
Does he? Is he the forward player, like the attacking player?
Yeah. Sometimes he's being used as a right wing back, but he's a right winger.
He's dead young as well, isn't he?
I think he's only like 17,
I'm
18.
I'm pretty sure he's Ghanaian international.
Oh,
I think.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually starts, but I'm pretty sure that he's Ghanaian. Yeah.
Yeah.
so next season,
Lineker loves him.
someone will pick him up next season,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah.
kind of the all right thing. Like you can tell a few players that who, like I said, teams will be scrambling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like I said, as much as saying these guys are in that position, I don't look at a lot of players like you're not a Premier League player, but they're just in the wrong team. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely one of them. Like
I think Ipswich as well, though, they're currently won 3, drew 7, and lost 11, like we mentioned. They've got some very good players. Their next 3 games, though, are just probably as bad as Southampton. They've got City, who seem to be kind of getting some form of rhythm back, Liverpool, and then obviously Southampton. So I can only actually see them picking up 3 points out of 3. But I think you've got Hutchinson, who I think's an unbelievable bowler. Delap seems to be finding his feet in the Prem, and bit of bias, yeah, but Leif Davis as well. I think he's a quality left back. There was rumours that Liverpool were actually looking at him to replace Robertson.
Liverpool like to look, like to look.
It's him and Robinson from Fulham seem to be the two like favourites for Liverpool to replace Robertson.
Yeah, but
Looks like a player.
somebody's got to take that position soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be them 3 to go down, but I would really like to see Ipswich stay up.
Yeah.
Personally, I would like Everton to go down. I think I hate them as much as I hate Sunderland, if I'm being totally honest.
Really? What's
Yeah.
I've
This
got
is
my reasons.
yeah. It's a weird one, this, because I've got a lot of friends that are Toon fans up here, and they all have this vendetta for Everton. Is it Pickford? Is it
Honestly,
because of
for
Pickford?
me, we've had this conversation, Alex. I don't actually mind Pickford. Like,
Really?
I said I would have had him over Pope at Newcastle in the summer.
Oh wow.
So I don't actually mind Pickford. I think he's fantastic with the ball at his feet. He's not a bad shot stopper. But I don't know. I've never liked them. I think it's because my uncle supported them. And I think that's where my hatred like comes from. The only team that's on par with them is now Arsenal, even though Arsenal did used to be one of my favourite teams in the Prem. But I just can't stand the fan base.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, and Arteta will do that.
Yeah. Arteta as well. He's like, I
Yeah.
can't get away
We'll
with
get
him.
on to Arteta at some point.
So sitting just above them is Wolves. They've played 21, won 4, drew 4, lost 13. So they've actually lost more games than Ipswich. But obviously they've picked up the additional win, so additional 3 points. So it's quite interesting. But as Alex mentioned, I think they've got the players to start getting results in. But when they played against us, they couldn't find the rhythm. I know obviously Newcastle played with like quite a high aggressive press, but yeah, the thing with Lerma, I think they need to get him sold if they're not going to use him, because it's just not going to create the best atmosphere behind the scenes. So, and especially with what the manager came out with, I don't know if you've seen what he came out with, saying that if he doesn't want to play, we don't need him in the squad type of thing. So if they don't get him sold, I think it's like, what's the other players kind of going to be thinking? So I think if they get him sold and can bring in maybe just 1 or 2 people in this window, like just for some depth, I think they'll be okay. But I think Kuna will definitely be away in the summer.
Yeah, great player.
They've got ballers.
He's so good.
Like I was
Yeah.
Smedo baller.
Yeah.
Tom like I said, that Traore is decent. Like I said, they've got enough individuals that they shouldn't be.
Traore's not at Wolves anymore, is he?
Is he?
Is he not?
The one that went to Barcelona,
Did he-
is that the one we're
Oh
talking
no,
about?
I think he's
He's at Fulham, isn't he?
Because
No.
there's another Traore,
Oh,
isn't
no,
there?
there's a different one. I don't know.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's is it Babacar?
Oh, yeah.
Something like
I
that.
Yeah,
thought you were on about Dorma there. I was like, I'm sure he's at Fulham now.
And they've got that. Was it that Guedes?
Yeah.
yeah, Cancelo or something like that.
Yeah.
There's their left back as well. We've got to be sniffing around him. I don't know if you've watched much of him, but that is it. Litonori,
Yeah,
ain't Nori.
he's a player who I can't stand.
Oh really?
Him and
That's maybe why I like him.
yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
I don't know why he's like it's like Cucurella as well. I can't stand
No,
Cucurella. They're like two players I just look at and I just get a hatred for them.
comparing Cooper, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, there's a type of just yeah.
Yeah. So
Larson as well.
Lawson's really good actually.
Oh, see what? See,
They
yeah,
they
nah,
they
yeah,
should be staying up, man. Like
yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll
they've
creep out of this relegation battle.
yeah,
Like,
agreed.
weren't they like high mid-table last season as well though? Weren't they
I'm
like
not
14 for something?
potentially. I'm not too sure to be honest.
No,
Fair. Everton then, this is a team that I was worried about going down, but looking at the results, they've won 3, they've drew 8, they've lost 9, but they've still got a game in hand over everybody because obviously the Liverpool game got suspended.
yes, when you
So
pick that
they're
up.
currently on 17 points. They're like the highest out that like bottom 5 teams. But when you look at their squad, they've got individuals within the squad.
Yeah,
Like again,
Ndai,
DCL, yeah, in Dai, by the way,
he's a
he's
player.
superb player. But they just lack in the final third again. Like they don't have a like proper striker. Like Calvert-Lewin was once this like England's next number 9, and
Yeah, it's crazy, man. What's happened to him?
he's just dropped off.
I saw a video of him on Instagram, and it was actually like girls talking about him. I don't know, like he's big in the fashion world or something. They're like, "Have you seen this guy's like outfits?" And I was like, "That's crazy." That the highlight of
Yeah,
his career is being a model. Yes,
yeah.
supposed to be the next stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where
I
he's.
think he was on. I was listening to. I think it was either Crouchy's podcast or it was the rest of his football. And they were talking about Calvert-Lewin and kind of dissecting like what's gone on there.
Yeah,
And I think it might have been Shearer actually just saying,
yeah, it was.
they're not too sure whether maybe he just doesn't like love the game as much as some people do. Because some people literally they love it, they breathe it, and they're obsessed. Some
Yeah.
people kind of it just becomes like a bit more of a job, and maybe that's what's happened. But like you say, he was like this promising sort of a prospect,
That
wasn't
was
he?
the Ancelotti and Duncan Ferguson era, though, wasn't it? When he started like hitting like a good run of
Yeah.
form. So
Hmm.
that could potentially have something to do with it. Because if you look at the people who's followed like Ancelotti's footstep, it's been more Benitez,
Yeah.
Lampard. They was Silva there at one point as well, I think.
Silver was there, yeah, and yeah,
And I'm sure there's been one more as well, but I can't remember who.
Yeah, and
Because I'm sure
also
there was somebody else in between.
I think with Moyes coming back, like they all love him. I think just that morale boost. Like I said, I don't think he's going to change too much, but I think it's just what you need halfway through the season. Fresh, familiar face, and I understand why they love him so much because, like I said, he did all right with them before. Obviously, yeah, he moved on. So I think just based on that and then individuals, I don't see them. No, I don't see them going down. And like they do this every season.
yeah,
So they do this. They look like
yeah.
and they just pick up a good run of form the last 10 games, and then they just do it all over again.
Yeah. And
Like,
and if it does start getting a bit prickly down there, they can just call Dyche.
yeah. Well, look what he done last year, though. This is what I
I
don't
know.
understand because
Yeah,
they had the points deduction as well last season, and
Oh
he still kept
yes,
them
yeah,
afloat.
I forgot about that
job.
because
It
I
was a
thought
big
they were
shot.
finished. When they got addiction, I was like, "There's no coming back. Might as well throw in the towel from there." And
Yeah,
I don't think they'll give them enough credit for that. To be fair,
yeah. Do you think that they'll bring anyone in January? Because I can't really see it, but I think in the
They've
summer
got
they
to.
have to have it. Yeah.
There had got to have been something in place for David Moyes to come back, like new stadium,
Yeah.
they need they must have said something to Moyes for him to actually come back, unless it was like his heart, he was following his heart, like with the connection that he's got with Everton. But surely you'd see what kind of scenario they're in and think, I'll come back if there's some sort of
definitely.
real plan in place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
he been all this time? David Moyes, or has he just been chilling?
Moyes,
West
he's
Ham
just
until
been,
the summer, wasn't he?
yeah, and then he took a bit of time out, didn't he? Yeah.
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 Is it definitely confirmed for Moyes now? It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Potter's just took over from
I think he
Lopetegui
played
at
his
West
he
Ham.
played his first game midweek.
Did he?
Yeah, well, in charge. Yeah, but he lost. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That new manager bounced back didn't work out then.
yeah. Tell me about it.
So moving on, we've got Palace just above Everton. They've won 5, drew 9, lost 7, and they're currently on 24 points. So there's a bit of obviously a jump between like 16th and 15th. I can't see Palace being worried now. I can't really see them moving in the table neither. I think between 13th and 15th is probably going to be where they're going to be finishing this season at a push. But I think 15th is probably going to be their place. And I think it's probably going to be Wolves and Everton. And then obviously the bottom three will be the bottom three.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Palace? I don't think they've played bad recently. I think the start of the season is where they've obviously kicked themselves. But I don't think they've... Like most teams this season, I think they're missing a proper, like, Mateta's good and stuff like that, but I just think they're missing a proper number 9 who can put away some, like, big chances.
Yeah, obviously, in Ketia, he's good. But to be honest, like Palace I don't look forward to that game every season. They just
Me neither.
They're one of those clubs.
Yeah.
And, like I said, you think like I'll say that they should be a top 10 club, but I think just little mistakes because, like I said, they've always had the players. Management's always been decent, and they like to just turn up against the big clubs for some reason. But like I said, I think it is the other teams around them that they just can't properly grasp it. I reckon.
Yeah, they haven't replaced Anderson neither. They'll have that at the back with Morgaye, and they haven't replaced Elise really because I think that Pape Sarr is a good player. I think he's a very good player, but I just with them two, I think they're very big characters which they were very reliant on last season. And as much as I love Morgaye, I think Anderson was probably the slightly better like ball playing centre half who can pick those like passes in between the lines and stuff, or even like what Fabian Shaw does for us, like that massive diag out to the winger for like a quick counter attack or break. So I don't think they've fully replaced him, and I think now they're just kind of starting to find the feet with the players they've got again, and surely they've got to have a plan in place because I think Morgaye is probably away for January or summer. Like, even if it's not to us, I think it's going to go to one of the like big teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean they probably should have taken the money for Mark Gay.
So yeah, I'd take him, especially if Van Dijk decides to pop off a come through.
Yeah, he shared some cryptic messages last night, didn't he? Actually, was it last night? I think he shared some black and white images, and everyone was a bit like, "Oh God, what's going on here?" Like, but it's probably just him sharing images. Do you know what I mean? And people just put spin on it. People just talk absolute shite, don't they? But
I'll stop trying to look into these things, bro, because you'll actually like, especially when it's you'll just hurt yourself, bro, for no reason, and they'll come out and say, "No, it's all good." And I was like, mate, like I've been up all night trying to figure out as if I'm the manager trying to fix this team. So I don't look into it.
But yeah,
Palace, Callum.
What?
With regards to Palace, like it is an odd one because they have got some like wicked players, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like they've got
Eze.
a really Eze, like you mentioned Mateta. They've got that Muniz scored an equaliser in the last second against Hughes, didn't he? To get the draw.
He's a
And
proper like dog player, and like
yeah,
what I mean by that is like he's a bastard to play against. Like he's just non-stop. He's relentless, and I think Palace though, what used to make Palace like so hard and how they used to finish like high mid tables pretty much every season is they had a team full of those sort of players. Like
Yeah.
it's you were saying before, Chico, that you don't really look forward. Alex, you said the same. I'm the
same.
same,
Hmm.
but they've got like such a small ground, like in regards to the pitch size. Like it's but every time somebody used to take a touch in that final third, they used to have 2 or 3 players around them straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a proper team. I think they've lost that aspect over the last couple of seasons and like relied on like the likes of Eze, Elise, and stuff like that. And I think going forward, they kind of haven't fully replaced the standard of player that Elise was. But let's be honest, Elise probably should have been gone from Palace a couple of seasons ago. He's been phenomenal since he's been playing for them.
Yeah, he's stuck it out.
There's also with Palace, I think the big thing is as well, they've obviously got that huge miss with Wharton.
Yeah,
Is it Adam Wharton? Like he was like, their player alongside Eze and Elise.
proper six, isn't he?
But he is still injured, right? And unless I look like an absolute idiot saying that, but I'm pretty
I
sure
think
he's
so.
still out.
I've never heard
And
much about
I
him.
think he had like a groin injury. So I think obviously someone who was so consistent last season and then taking that away, a little bit like the Rodri discussion. That could also play a huge part in it, can't it?
Yeah, be interesting to see when he's back and see what difference he makes to the team, though.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
he could be like one of the most impactful players in the Prem if that's the case. Because people are saying that about Rodri, and City's still got like abundance of talent. So if Wharton can make a difference, maybe he's got more of an impact at Palace than Rodri at City.
Potentially.
So moving on to Spurs, Alex, you looked at me funny when we first ever had our first ever episode because I said Spurs will drop out of the Europe chase.
Yeah.
And they're currently sitting, where is it, 13th, is it? 14th in the league. 21 played, 7 won, drew 3, lost 11.
Yeah. And Bob.
So they've actually lost the same amount of games as Ipswich.
That's nuts.
It's
Nuts,
crazy,
innit?
isn't it? It really is.
I called it. People can't
did.
question my ball knowledge. I called it at the start of the season.
You did. Yeah.
In my first ever episode on Not Just Another Story, I said Spurs will drop out of Europe.
You did.
And I stand firm on that. Forest has obviously blew me expectations. I was not expecting them to be anywhere near. They've swapped places with Man U.
Still red.
But yeah, Spurs. Injuries have been a massive thing for them, I think, especially at the back. Because I think against us, I'm pretty sure they had Jed Spence and Archie Gray both playing centre half for a lot of the game because that Diggerson came off at half time, however you pronounce his name. And Archie Gray, I think he's a serious player. Jed Spence, I think he's a fantastic fullback, but I'm pretty sure he's a right back normally, but they've been playing him left back.
But then there's the likes of... Nah, I don't think that's a fully excuse. Spurs are just a mess because there's that Van der Ven. Is he still in the mix?
He's injured.
Yeah, Van der Ven is injured, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like what I was
And
saying.
is it
So they've had
Romero
Archie
as well?
Gray at the back. Yeah.
Romero, Van der Ven. They've lost a lot of their their big guys, haven't they?
Yeah.
Lost a lot of them.
Archie Gray's only young, isn't he? He's only 18, 19.
He looks really good as well.
Isn't he a centre mid normally?
Yeah, he's I'm definitely a midfielder.
He's been playing centre back, but he's playing out his skin at centre back as well, though he hasn't been too bad.
That's crazy.
Shout out to that. Is it Bergvall as well?
By the way, against us, he was the best player on the pitch, like from both sides. He was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know we just got through like with a 2-1 win against them, but Bergvall, like he just commanded everything. I am shocked with how little he's using Madison. Madison seems to be more of an impact player for Spurs, and when they signed, obviously it was this big signing for them and stuff like that. And quite quickly, he's not the type of player that Ange seems to want to utilise from the start.
And he's still a bowler as well, which is a shame for him. Like,
But his type of players going out with fashion in football, do you not think though? Because he's like what I would say is a proper number 10, like just has that free role.
yeah,
And you don't really see much of it because if you look at Foden, he's probably the next thing similar to Madison, and he doesn't really play as a proper number 10 anymore. He's kind of changed his game when he is in midfield.
yeah,
He's more of an 8.
yeah, put him to the wing as well.
Yeah.
What do you, but remember, Ange says that he wins a trophy every second season.
Every second season.
So it's
Yeah, we'll see, won't we? I was gobsmacked, to be fair, when, like you were mentioning there about Madison. I was gobsmacked to see Son and Madison on the bench against Hughes.
Crazy,
Like,
innit?
what on earth? Like, just give Newcastle the 3 points, like, without even playing. Like, what on earth, like, are you doing? Like, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be absolutely livid.
yeah.
I would. I'd be livid. Maybe I'd. Yeah.
If your son, what do you do? Like, you you want a trophy as well at some point. like
Yeah, of course.
You're probably looking at Kane thing. I was like, am I really gonna stick it out for nothing for the next 5 years? That, he's got to be just lost.
Yeah. I love Son as well. He's so likable. He's such a likable dude. Like there was loads of documentaries on him as well that I've watched, and he comes across as such a nice guy. And
He does, doesn't he?
oh yeah, like really, really nice, and he's been such a great player for them. And as well, they brought in Solanke, who scored a fantastic goal against you though. I think he sent Sven Botman back to wherever it is for that first initial goal, but obviously he's turned that around.
It was a great goal. It was really bad defending though. Let's be honest. Like if we like analyze the situation, Botman's positioning.
First game back though
like
for him.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, that's why you're not really going to hammer Botman for it. But I think if it was like a fully fit Shaw, like, or even like against one of you guys, like the defending position is going to be 10 times better and he doesn't score that goal. But like you say, he's been out for 10 months, is it? I think.
Yeah.
And it's his first game back, and he's thrown in the mix against Spurs straight away, playing on his weaker side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I know professional football shouldn't really matter, but if you're a left footer, you kind of feel more comfortable playing as a left centre half. So, but yeah, I think overall though, Solanke's been quite underwhelming in comparison to what everyone was expecting. Because I was thinking, obviously, going to Spurs, service is going to be better than Bournemouth, and he hasn't really delivered, is what I think a lot of players, people thought he would.
Yeah, expectations, I guess, because he had that he had a fantastic season, didn't he, last season?
He scored two against us.
Yeah,
I think he's got about 7 goals. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, is it him underperforming or is it just Spurs in general? Because where they're sitting in the league table and he's still got 7 goals. If it wasn't Spurs, you'd probably be saying he's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
That team's cursed.
I don't watch enough of Spurs, to be honest. I don't really watch enough of Spurs.
I don't anymore.
They're not a fun team to watch. Even on the weekend, in the FA Cup, bro, these guys went a whole extra time. I can't remember who they were against, bro.
Tamworth.
Tamworth, yeah.
I was like, what are you doing? Like, is this just to entertain or
They didn't have a weak squad out against Tamworth either. Like they had a lot of the starters on.
And I was like, that said it all for me. And I was like, the one time I'll actually sit down and watch them because I think I just decided to watch pretty much every FA Cup game, and I was like, nah, this is if you're telling me this is a Premier League club, like that did not look like it. And they were playing at their little field.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the no replays then?
Sparked a big debate, hasn't it?
I think there should definitely either be a replay or scrap extra time.
Straight to pens.
If they're not having a replay. Yeah.
Straight to pens.
I get obviously the fixture build up, and it's more beneficial for obviously the teams going away and stuff like that, but there's got to be a way they can still compensate if they go to extra time and penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a massive revenue like that. what they would have got for the replay going to Spurs would have set them for like this season and next season.
Did they say that like it was like within the kind of mil reach revenue that it could
Yeah.
do for them, apparently? And yeah, it's set off a bit of a debate, hasn't it, as to whether it's right or not. Because like they get to extra time, and I didn't watch the game, but I saw someone arguing saying that you could get to extra time and then just completely change your team, bring on like 4 or 5 of your superstars.
Which is what Spurs did, didn't they? They brought
And
on, like,
apparently
3
that's
subs.
what they did. Yeah, I didn't see it, but and then you can just there you go. Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
But if they
Can't
go
look.
straight to penalties, then obviously
it's
they've still got a chance of going through, don't they?
yeah,
anything. can
fair chances.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I think that's what they'll do next year, because I can't see them bringing replays out, because the Big Six will hate it with the fixture build-up.
Yeah.
And I think the fairest way of doing it for those teams further down in the football pyramid would be to just go straight to penalties, screw the extra time. And then I heard Roy Keane obviously say that they'll just bring these players on at like 60-minute mark. But in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, that's fair enough though, because they can do that. Like, it's in like the game, but when you've got a team of part-time footballers who are like school teachers during the week,
Yeah.
like they're not going to have it in the engine, like, or people on the bench, like their starting 11 is going to be their best 11. So if they can bring if they bring their best players on for the last 40 minutes, then at least the lads from Tamworth and stuff like that are going to still have a little bit in the engine to kind of cope with them a bit better than what they would at like 90 minutes. So that's what I would do. If not, I would just bring replays back, because the lower league, obviously, they have an abundance of games anyways.
Yeah. I don't mind personally. It's selfishly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do get it. It's their chance, low teams, to make a difference. And even like I said, that's where you see the odd players that probably wouldn't normally get scouted. And like I said, you never know. A good game against a Premier League club, Championship club could change their trajectory. But when you're in every competition, I don't know. It's a lot like this.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just want to move on now to West Ham, because we spent a bit of time on Spurs. But just
I was
before we
just-
do,
I was just about
Go
to
on,
say,
Alex.
for someone who doesn't like Spurs, heck, you love talking about them there. And also, I'm sorry if my alarm went off there. I have to pick my fantasy Premier League captain. So
no,
just
that's
you crack on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, just before we move on, I just want to do a special shout out to Brennan Johnson, because after the grief he got off the fans at the start of the season, he's been phenomenal for them after that.
Yeah, great player.
And Kulafeski as well, playing as a 10 rather than a winger as well. I think he's been amazing
Another
in there.
very good player.
Yeah, keeping Madison out the side, obviously. But West Ham, this is what I find a little bit weird. So Spurs have played 21, won 7, won 7, drew 5, lost 9. So better results than Spurs, but they've sacked the manager because of bad results and got
Weird.
obviously Potter in. And when you look at the two teams, you kind of think, oh, Spurs trying to like do a project, like actually sticking to the project for a change, which is good to see. But then West Ham, obviously, they only brought their gaffer in the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lopetegui.
Yeah. And then replaced him with Potter.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah. So I can't
That's
see them
Premier.
moving up the table though, and I can't see them dropping too much. I think them potentially could get overtaken by Spurs, but West Ham
That's
on 26 points along with Man U.
I was just about to say those wins, draws, and losses sound very familiar. I won't lie.
Yeah.
But it's mad because that's the Premier League, isn't it now? And if you're a manager, like it's cutthroat as hell.
Yeah.
And if they don't back someone's idea, and it's a results business.
Yeah.
It's a results business, and they've obviously just.
The signings didn't make sense either, though, did they? Really? Because they bought that. Is it
Fulkrug?
Yeah. I never
Yeah.
heard of him until he had that one good
Dortmund.
tournament international. Yeah.
Was it Dortmund? I think. Did he play for Dortmund? I might look a right idiot there, but
I don't know who
I
he
think
played
he
for
might have.
Dortmund. But he had
But
a
it's
good international, didn't he? Like he played well. Was it in the Euros or something?
he did, yeah, he did. And again with those, they've got a couple of really good players. I mean, they've got arguably one of two of the best, I
Yeah.
think, really top performers in the Premier League this season, which is obviously
Bowen.
Kudus and and what's he called as well, Rodgers.
Rodgers, yeah.
Um,
I think
is it
one
Rodgers
of the best attacks in
or
that
is that
half of the table.
Villa? Am I talking crap there?
Villa's got
Is Rod?
Rogers. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're talking
Rodgers is
crap there.
Villa. Yeah, I'm talking crap.
Yeah,
But Kudus,
No, no.
what an absolute player he is.
yeah. You've got Bowen as well, though, and Paqueta.
Yeah, Bowler, and Paqueta, bro.
Yeah, I
Souček,
think
he's
Paqueta has been underwhelming
Really?
this season. I think. Bowen, I think it's a strange one because they signed them. They kept Antonio on the bench and played Bowen as a 19 again. And then obviously that full Craig started playing, but then Antonio, before obviously the car crash, he managed to get himself into the squad. The bloke's like a cockroach for West Ham, isn't he? Like every time like, a new manager comes in, they try benching him, and he always comes back into the starting 11.
That's actually true.
He's brilliant, Mikel.
So it's because on the outside he's just not a player that most managers would want. Like he's not good to look at, but he just gets the job done, doesn't he? Like, but yeah, I think there's not too much to say on West Ham really. How do you think Potter's going to do? I think like Everton with Moyes, surely they've got to give him something to spend in January.
Yeah,
Give him some time.
yeah, they've got to give him some time, and they've just got to back whatever his idea is, because I mean Potter was brilliant at Brighton, wasn't he? I mean Brighton's a completely different run club. Brighton are a very, very well run football club, obviously, but I think they'll be all right. And obviously they brought in big Aaron the Spider Wan-Bissaka into West Ham, who dunked on you, as you'll remember, at St James's Park. Three of his goals, two of them coming against Newcastle. Always turns into prime fucking Cafu at St James's Park.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Because I'm sure I watched him when he was at Palace. He played against us as well, and I'm pretty sure he didn't score, but I'm pretty sure he had a fantastic game against us as well. Bastard.
Well, before he was like, in terms of right backs, he was in that like Trent, Reece James conversation. He was like, he was So I think he's still got it in him.
I agree.
I don't get the hate you had for him, like not you personally, but like your fan base had for him. Though, because I thought he was quite balanced.
Yeah, I loved him. I never had any sort of bad juju towards him. He was one of like my players. Like I thought he was fantastic, especially one on one. One on one. I always felt really confident. Yeah.
Yeah. So swiftly moving on, since you mentioned Wan-Bissaka, and because he's on the same points as West Ham, Man United, Alex.
Yeah.
Exactly the same results. Won 7, drew 5, lost 9.
Yeah.
26 points.
Sitting
12.
It's not looking good, Brett.
I do actually want to say something nice about United. I've got one thing. Amad Diallo.
Baller.
What a player. That's the
baller.
nicest thing I can say. Like, fair play. Like,
fair play.
I actually really hope that just don't kill him, man. don't run him down.
Question for you, Alex.
Yeah.
You watch, obviously, Man U every week. I don't really watch them too much. I've only really started watching them more since Amram came in because I really like him as a coach. Where would you prefer to see Diallo to play in the system? Because I know he's played him at right wing back and then as one of the more advanced midfielders. Would you prefer him as a advanced midfielder or as the wing back?
I prefer to see him as an advanced midfielder because that's where I feel like he really shines, and that's his natural sort of position. The best thing about Ahmad is he will literally play wherever the fuck he's told to play because he he is he is everything that we need to be. The other players in the dressing room need to be looking at him and realizing that that is the standard. That is the standard to
Yeah,
the last minute, to the whistle goes. This is the effort you put in, and this
yeah,
is what it means to wear like the shirt. And I know it sounds dead cheesy and corny, but over years we've struggled to find players that that want to play like that, and they
yeah,
want to, and they do play for the badge because it goes back a long time. And we're not going to stick on it too much because I'll talk forever. But you know, the whole past with the Glazers, I mean, the past, they're still with us. You know, people forget that just because Sir Jim came in doesn't mean they're not still present. They are. He's just got a small percentage. They're still the leeches that they always have been. And essentially, they were offering off huge, stupid, big contracts and, stupid money for young players. So, for example, like you've got Rashford sitting on like 325 grand a week, right? You've got Casemiro sitting on 350 grand a week. There aren't many other clubs, obviously. City have just dropped one of the biggest fucking news
Shock.
stories over the. Yeah, wow. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, so that kind
yeah,
of blows that out of the water. But what I mean is that these young players getting this stupid money and just maybe not being nurtured correctly. Because when you're such a young lad and you're being told that you're the best, you're the best in the world, you're fantastic, and they start to develop this sort of ego. And I think what I'm trying to tie into is that it can often mean that they believe that they're actually bigger than the club they're playing for, and it becomes player
100%.
FC. That's why we've had these Rashford FC fan clubs. You know, Jadon Sancho. I'm not even talking about him. He can get fucked. Yeah, I hate the guy. But see, I've obviously gone on a tangent there as to why I think people need to be looking at Ahmad and realizing that this is what you should be doing if you want to play in this team. And yeah,
yeah,
long story cut short, I'd love him to play in a more advanced role and get an actual right wing
yeah,
back in.
And even credit to Ahmad, because obviously I followed him when he was at Sunderland, and
Yeah, and he was brilliant.
he was a big player for them. Like I'd like
Hmm.
I thought that was going to happen like sooner rather than later. That somebody was going to pick him up, which is
Yeah,
quite annoying that you went to you guys.
ten
Um,
yeah.
Ten Hag was a terrorist, man.
Yeah.
That'll do well for your TikTok.
Do you know?
Ten Hag,
Do you know
he
what
was a
though?
terrorist, man. He was a terrorist. What was he
Do you know what
doing?
though? He
What
lost
in
that changing
Anthony?
room. He lost that
Anthony?
changing room right when he had the beef with Ronaldo, and
Yeah,
as much as people might say,
yeah.
yeah, he's past the prem and that. After all that stuff, like his first season back, he was your top goal scorer. He was scoring like he was still scoring every other week.
Hmm.
He's, in my opinion, you could still do it. Like not now, probably not, but you could probably do with a goal scorer like him in the squad in
yeah,
your squad at the minute.
Yeah.
And I think Rashford's a funny one for me as well because I don't get how he has that sort. He might not, but from the outside looking in, it looks like he's got this mentality where like he just kind of is there just to show up and not really play for the badge as such, like you're on about with Diallo.
Yeah.
And it's weird when you look at the players who were in the squad when he was coming through as well, though, because out of
Mm.
everyone, you would think it would be him who has that ethic
as a
because
sport, yeah,
there was still some of that culture with like Wayne Rooney, Zlatan, Mourinho being there,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then obviously the thing with Rashford, those few seasons he was consistent, and then once them players start to leave like the club,
Hmm.
it seemed like that's when his inconsistency started as well.
Yeah.
Because if he was consistent, he's arguably one of the best left wingers in the world. If he can stay consistent, but he can't.
Hmm.
He has one good season and then drops the
I
next.
was I was just about to say that's exactly what he does. He has a good season. He has a really bad season. He has a good season. So this season we're expecting the good season, and he just got a new bird as well. There's this kind of conspiracy that when he's got his girlfriend, he's got a new girlfriend. He plays really well, but
when he
Yeah,
settled that. All
it's a
right,
stupid
is that
Twitter conspiracy theory.
he's off to
But
Milan, though, isn't he?
yeah,
also the Milan thing? Because Milan have just because I didn't know in the Serie A the clubs can only sign one English player.
Right.
And
Yeah. So it looks like they're going to go with Kyle Walker potentially.
Kyle Walker, yeah, Kyle Walker. But I
Yeah.
thought,
Wait, what?
yeah, Kyle Walker's good.
Yeah. So they're interested in Kyle and they're also interested in Rashford, but they can only, like Chico was saying there, they can only take on one,
What,
apparently.
per transfer window?
I believe so, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. I don't know why. It's a funny one, but I just found out this week as well. Yeah.
That's nuts. I
Yeah.
did not know that,
Just before, just before we move on to the striker with Manchester United, do I
Yeah.
keep my captain on Isak, right? Against Bournemouth at home.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah,
I've kept.
yeah,
I've kept him.
Just to
Yeah, I
completely
don't.
go off topic here.
I got 76
Just
points in my FPL for last game week for the midweek games.
your thoughts as well. So, unfortunately, I have only got either Henderson for Crystal Palace or Andre Onana for choice of goalkeeper. Onana plays at Brighton at home at Old Trafford, which obviously means nothing these days. Or we've got Henderson for Crystal Palace, and he's playing away at West Ham. What do you reckon? Onana?
Well, no,
Do you reckon he's got a
Heads
clean
or
sheet in him?
tails, mate. Heads or tails.
it's a
Heads or tails? I haven't got a coin on me, but I tell
You
you
know what I
what,
do?
yeah,
I just pick a team that's mid-table. This is what I do for my goalkeeper. I pick a team that's mid-table-ish every season, and I pick their two keepers. So if one's injured, the other one just goes in. And then this season, I opted for West Ham, so it's just been Fabianski and Areola, both of them being injured every single week. But because it goes off saves and stuff like that as well, doesn't it? So I don't want to pick somebody who's just like top.
with Andre, and we'll go Isak captain. But anyway, sorry about
Yeah, all good.
that. But with regards to the striking, yeah, I think you're right. I think we were actually screaming out for the last transfer window for a more advanced, more experienced striker to come in to sit alongside, not sit alongside and play, but with Hoyland so he can learn under someone because Hoyland's so young. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of pressure for someone to come into a club like us and be the main focal point up front at a club like us. Like it's crazy.
Can be that for you guys, honestly.
I
I
do.
don't want to lose faith in him. I don't want to lose faith in him. Do you know what it is? What's mad is I genuinely did think so, and I do think he's got a lot of qualities. But I'll be really surprised if Joshua, if Xerxes doesn't get a start. And I know he's a completely different topic to go on to, but the way that he's come on in the last few games and completely changed how we play, he deserves a start. I'd be quite annoyed actually if he doesn't get a start. Although I know the Premier League are looking to try and ban him for a couple of games because he did the celebration. He held his cock when we scored against Southampton, and apparently, yeah, he ran over to the crowd and was like grabbing hold of his nuts or something. So, yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, so apparently you can get banned for that these days. Utter woke nonsense.
With the Hodgland shout though, I don't get what Man U were doing. Not in the sense of the transfer, because I think he's a good striker, but in the sense that they made the media, made it out to be like the next Haaland.
Yeah.
But the season that he had before, and I'm pretty sure he only scored like 9 goals for Atlanta.
Exactly. But the
Like,
media, the English media, it's the English media, mate.
He had a good run for his country, didn't he? Like, he had a decent run international, but he wasn't fantastic. But the signing that they made him, which I think made a lot of Man U fans, like, obviously not the sensible ones, but as you do you get a large proportion, especially online, who were just idiots.
Yeah.
It made them think that he was going to come, like, all, like, firing, like, Haaland to Man City.
That's
but
what...
Haaland's a different beast, and he, like, he's just Haaland's a freak of nature when it comes to goal scoring and his movement and stuff like that. Where I think Hodgland would have been 10 times better being in that transfer, but having somebody like a Zlatan or like a, say if he's kept hold of Ronaldo, having like somebody like that to like learn off of,
and that's why
in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying a lot of the fans, a lot of the ones that weren't deluded, were looking to potentially bring in someone experienced. So we could play under him and sort of learn from that. But just to kind of touch on this before you want to move on, you also can't really expect too much from a guy who's your main focal point if he's not getting the service.
Yeah,
So
Exactly.
that is something that has been a massive, massive issue for us over the past couple of months and past year or so. These guys are up there and they're getting fucking sweet fuck all. And that's down to a lot. Yeah, it's down to a lot of different reasons, which I'll not go into because it'll take forever. But if they aren't getting the service, what do you want them to do, man?
Yeah.
For you guys.
Bruno can only keep taking fucking 30, 40-yard shots from wherever the fuck he wants every game, which I will give him credit for. Amorim has drilled it into him that needs to change. And the last couple of games, obviously we got a wicked result for us, not yous, because I know you hate draws, Chico, but we were buzzing with the draw against yous. And obviously we got a wicked result against Arsenal in the end. And you can see Bruno now. And by the way, he's literally probably one of my favourite United players over the past 8 to 10 years. And I'm not even joking. He's literally one of my favourites. He's gone straight into my favourite United players.
Really?
Yeah, genuinely. I love him, man. I think without him, we're nothing. And you can see that Ruben's really spoken to him because he's no longer, he does it now and again, but he's not just taking a pop shot every game out of nowhere. He's actually thinking, right, okay, what's the best way to move the ball up the field and have more of a chance? But yeah, it's been a funny old season, but I'll leave it with this season. I don't really expect anything, and I'm completely happy with that. I'm not happy, I'm not like, hey, Manchester United, but what I mean is I'm more than happy to give Ruben, this season can just be a season where he gets to completely understand who's capable of doing what, who needs to piss off. I'm more than happy for him to just use the rest of this season as time for him to analyse the situation. Then next season I'll start judging him. But there's no chance in hell I'm judging him this season. Not a chance.
You can only judge him with transfers as well, though, because if he keeps the same, you've got a lot of players that should not be in that team for that system that he's trying to play. Because I don't know what you were thinking about playing Casemiro and Eriksen against Newcastle. When Newcastle are arguably the most athletic midfield three in the whole Premier League.
Honestly,
I don't know another midfield that's got the same sort of runners as Newcastle.
It was suicide, mate. It was suicide. I was out in Newcastle watching it, and I was in a bar full of Newcastle fans. My father-in-law, my brother-in-law. It was, and I saw the team lineups, and I was honestly, I was on Uber contemplating just getting an Uber home because I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. And all my mates were like, yeah, but it's at Old Trafford. I went, it doesn't fucking matter.
Do you know what? Before the game, I said to my dad, I went, Man U's not got to look in here. And he went, why? I went, because their midfield are just going to be overrun because the way you kind of play, it's having them two both in the same lineup just does not work. And when you made the early sub with Manu, but you brought Xerxes off, and I was like, I didn't understand the change because he still kept them to one. So Manu was basically just legs for three midfielders. And yeah, I wasn't a fan of it, but obviously I was happy. But I do want to move on because we've spent a lot of time on Man U.
Yeah.
So we've got Brentford in 11, and I was quite shocked because I think they could be higher with the players that they've got. They've won 8, drew 4, lost 9.
Wow.
I think they haven't missed Tony, if I'm being totally honest. I don't think so anyways. I think Wiss has been phenomenal. And Mbeumo, he'll get a move in the summer. Personally, I would really like Newcastle to be adventurous and whack a high bidding for him in January because he's the type of player profile that I would love to see. The 3 players I said Newcastle for right wing was Semenyo, Mbeumo, and that young'un from Dublin, and then maybe the young'un from Leicester if he was fully fit. Just because they're all high energy, lot of work rate. But Mbeumo would obviously be the ideal. But I think Brentford across the squad now, they've just got consistency in every single position. When you watch them play, you don't think they need to improve this position as such. It's more about just getting like different players who is maybe slightly better quality, but whereas other players in around where they are, like Man U, you're on about a striker, Newcastle right wing, like they've got like those areas in the squad where like that's a position targeted. For Brentford, I don't see it when I watch them.
Yeah,
Everyone just looks capable.
yeah. Obviously, we're
Yeah.
at home. I mean, then we're away at Brentford, and like I said, that's not like I know that's going to
Is
be a tough.
is that this weekend,
Um,
Chico?
I'm a Bees fan today. Yeah,
yeah,
Oh,
this
is
weekend.
that
Yeah, this
today?
weekend.
Yeah.
So.
I'm a Bees fan.
Are you a beast
Oh
fan,
yeah,
are
it's
you?
today, man. Yeah, yeah, it's today. So yeah, we'll see, man. We'll
Yeah.
see. Like I said, that obviously
Good
we
team.
had Forest during the week in Brent. I was like these, like I'm more not worried, but like these games. If we win these games, then we can now talk where we're going to finish. But I was like, if we don't
Yeah.
get a result from them, then like yeah, it's not looking
Yeah.
good
hmm
because Brentford they're just one of those teams. Kind of, I mean, they're a lot better than Palace, but like they'll just turn up 100 against us. And like I said, every position they've got a person that can cause a problem for us.
Yeah.
So
They're a
I
good.
respect Brentford.
Yeah, they're a good team, man. I think you've got to respect them, haven't you? And Thomas Frank
Yeah.
is he's fantastic. I mean, he was getting tossed around when we were looking at taking on someone. Like that's how good a manager he is. I think. I know like
I've got a
11th isn't
question for
great, but
you
it's better than
boys.
12th.
Yeah, true. I've got a question for you boys.
Mm.
This whole transfer thing about like managers going to like a top six club and stuff like that and taking that next step from the likes of like Brighton to Potter to Chelsea and Frank to whoever, because Man U obviously like throwing his name in the mix.
hmm
If you're a manager or a player at these sort of clubs and you're looking at the top six now, other than say one or two teams, what's the selling point to the top six these days, like in the Prem? Like, because if you look at the typical top six, you've got Spurs. If you're a player looking at them, you're thinking you've not won a trophy in God knows how long. There's no real project there from what you can see. They change managers quite often in recent history. Man U, at the minute, obviously doesn't look like a very well run club, especially with obviously all the sack-ins and the turnover managers in recent history as well. Chelsea just spend on whoever, so if you're a player, you're not guaranteed minutes, and they don't really give managers a chance.
Yeah,
Hopefully, the changes with Maresca. You look at Arsenal,
just can't win a trophy.
yeah. Arsenal's a funny one because they're always in that like league
Oh,
race, but then drop off. But you're thinking, shit, yeah.
They're like a Netflix series where you just always have to wait for
For
season
the
two.
for the next season. And then you've got obviously City and Liverpool. I think Liverpool now are probably the most the best team that you look at to join in. But if you're Thomas Frank and you're getting Man U shouts from Brentford, like no offense, Alex, but
I'd be like,
there's nothing to me that benefits Thomas Frank to go to Man U. For me, he's got a project with Brentford. He hasn't got these ceiling expectations. So just build on the project and keep like building Brentford as a club.
Completely agree.
agree.
I'd literally just stick with Brentford because they're obviously pretty well run, and they can get hold of and find these good players. Yeah, let's not even get back into United because
Yeah.
you walk into United and it's a whole different world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you can't even go to the toilet without it being reported. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can't like pop to Nisa down the road without, yeah. So I agree. I think I like Brentford.
No,
I
I don't
really
mind
do.
it. Yeah, I like him even more today as well. Like,
Honestly, Chico, I think both of us are Bees fans this weekend. Like, but I only want them to win because it makes that the Prem chase a lot more interesting.
oh,
sound really wrong, but I know I say that was obviously just for clickbait. But
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest with you. I'd much rather Liverpool won today because
just because of
Brentford
the
are literally
positions.
just above us. Yeah.
I'm a Bees fan.
So yeah, you'll never walk alone and all that.
Yeah.
I want you right winger to bag a hat-trick against us. But yeah, Brentford, I can't see them moving up and down in the table. I think between probably 9th and 11th is where they'll finish up the season. Moving on to Fulham, though, who are sitting 10th. I think they've shocked a lot of people this season, but I think they've made some very smart and clever signings. Won 7, drew 9, lost 5, and they're sitting smack bang in the middle of the Prem. What's your thoughts on Fulham's this year? I think they've been decent. I think Iwobi's been phenomenal.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I know it's pretty boring, but I don't watch a lot of Fulham either. But I think the table obviously speaks for itself with regards to, some of the results that they've been picking up. And you said there, Wobie again. I think he's a really solid player.
Yeah.
And they've got a few players like that, haven't they, as well? Obviously, they brought in Emile from Arsenal, Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
And
they've got
they've
their graduates, don't they? Really, they've just got Arsenal's graduates.
yeah. And Jimenez, I mean, I know he's kind of pushing on a bit, but they have got some really great players, and obviously shout out Pereira as well,
Yeah,
ex-United, Andreas, and that Robinson that you were mentioning, left back, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is something that we desperately need too. But yeah, I think, and is it the? Oh yeah, I completely forgot he actually went, didn't he?
Reece Nelson, he plays all right for them. I don't think he scored. I don't know the stats if I'm being honest, but I don't think he scored many. But he performs and he plays still. Mm-hmm. But they've just got a team of work as well, like that. Like again, that sort of team, like the Palace and that, everyone works for each other for Fulham, and I think that's what's done them well. But yeah, I think they've still. I don't think anyone would have thought that they'll be in the top 10 this far in the season.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
I think I had them like 17th or 16th in the league. I think that's where I guessed at the start of the season. So fair play to them, man. Yeah, Fulham, we had one though, because years ago under Hodgson, they were like Europa League final and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's weird. I don't really have much on Fulham.
Nah, neither.
I don't have much of a say on Fulham. I don't know whether that's just because I'm ignorant to them, but
I like watching them.
Yeah,
I like watching them.
That Marco Silva, I don't know too much about him. I mean, obviously he seems to know what he's doing, clearly, but I'm not too familiar.
He was at Everton, wasn't he? And they got rid of him at Everton, but he's a good manager. He's obviously doing well at Fulham, so I think they're another team. I think it's between Brentford. Well, to be fair, between Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, and Brentford, and Man U. I think them positions are just basically rotatable, if I'm being honest. But moving on to Brighton. Brighton's a weird one for me, because I know obviously they lost Potter and then they lost a few of the bigger players, but didn't kind of progress how I thought they would have progressed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that has a lot to do with obviously they lost quite a big few of their big players within a couple of seasons, didn't they? Because they lost, was it Cucurella and then Casido in 2 seasons, back-to-back seasons or something? Or was it the same season?
It was somewhere thereabouts. And as I was saying about them being really well run, I don't know all the names of the details of the directors and the scouts and what have you, obviously. I'm not that much of a stat nerd, but I know that they are very well run.
Yeah.
And they always seem to just find these players that have these huge potentials, and then move, like you said there with Caicedo and players like this. And there's been a few more in the past, hasn't there? But they just always seem to find these great players and make really good money from them. So I imagine they'll just continue doing that if they use the same sort of methods.
João Pedro, striker. Do you know what I found weird?
And Trossard.
Trossard, I forgot about him. They had Ben White before that, though.
Ben White, yeah. There's probably loads more that we're missing. But
Kasenga Luwalawa.
Whoa.
Luwalawa. Lua, some boy.
Yeah.
Throwback. But yeah, Brighton, they're probably arguably the best run club in the league, I would say, in terms of what they spend to get players into what they sell for.
Oh yeah, good
Like
business model. Good.
that's why I was really excited when Ashworth came to us, but then it kind of didn't seem to go to plan, and then obviously it just went even worse for Man U. So let's not speak about him
Yeah,
too much.
nah.
But Brighton, yeah, another team I really like to watch.
Right.
Very similar to everybody else we've mentioned in these sort of areas, but yeah, João Pedro, 23 years old, and he's been captain of 3 English clubs.
Wow.
Mental.
I can't remember who the third one is, but one's Watford and the other one's Brighton, and I can't remember who the third club is. But yeah, at 23 years of age.
That's
So
crazy, man.
if anybody knows
That's,
who the other club is, let us know in the comments.
I actually don't, to be completely honest with you.
And I only seen it because it was on the Fozcast, I think it was. Cause who was it? Somebody was on about it in one of the podcasts that I listened to. But yeah, 3 English clubs. He's been captain at the age of 23.
Wow.
That's mental.
And shout
Yeah.
out Mitoma
So
as well. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
consistent.
Mitoma, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Yakuba Minter as well.
Yeah.
Player.
Yeah. How do you feel about that one?
Not as much as I feel about Elliot Anderson's.
Ah, okay, yeah. Well, we'll get onto that, won't we? We'll get
Yeah,
onto
so
that.
Minter,
Evan Ferguson.
he's
Evan
been off the
Ferguson
boil
as
though,
well.
hasn't
Yeah, he has. He has
he? Well,
recently.
his
He's still
age
got
allows
something
it,
in him.
innit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
When you're that age, you're allowed. You know,
Yeah.
you're still finding your feet. So
But yeah, with the Minter thing, or Minter, I don't even know how you meant to pronounce it, but loads of Newcastle fans were foaming because he had a decent season. Was it at Feyenoord the season before on loan? For me, for the money that we got, I think did we get 30 mil for him? I think there or thereabouts.
something like that.
I was, yeah, he would have been perfect for what we're missing now in the team, but 30 mil for a kid who hadn't played in the Premier League, hadn't played a minute for Newcastle.
Yeah, it's not bad business.
Can we really be bothered about it? But in the hindsight, yes, because that's the position that we could have probably done with him in. But for the money that we got, if it wasn't for PSR, people would have probably been happy with that deal. But because everyone knew it was solely because of PSR why we got rid of him, then obviously a lot of fans are we're foaming about it. But I think for a guy who's never played a minute in the Prem, he's never really played a minute for our first team, and we're getting around 30 million for him. You can't really.
You can't.
Yeah, no, true.
When he cost with the next and nothing to get, so it was just pure profit pretty much. So I wasn't too fussed. Like, I'm glad that he's doing well as well. Like, them sort of players, when they haven't really done anything to the club, I always like to see them do well as long as they play shit when they play us. So yeah. But yeah, Brighton, well-run club. Moving on to the team that I think has actually shocked
Some team.
everybody in the league is Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, 8th.
Yeah. 8th in the league. They've won 9, drew 7, and only lost 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they've lost Solanke.
Yeah, exactly.
They've another team, very Palace-like in the terms that Chico used earlier. Like, they're just hard to play against. And Semenyo is another right winger, obviously, who I'm a big fan of, but I think he's been amazing this season. And is it his first season or second season in the Premier? I don't think he's been in the Prem long.
I'm not too sure, but it rings a bell.
Yeah.
Evan Nilsson as well.
Yeah.
Great player.
Yeah, really good player. It's mad because when you look at that team,
there's not names.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just a team, aren't they?
I don't want to
they're
sound
not individuals.
disrespectful. Yeah, but that's what I was going to go on to. Like, it's literally just it's a fucking team. You know, they're playing as an actual team, which is what's brilliant. That's probably a little bit disrespectful because they have got a few really, really good players. You know, even players like Ryan Christie, he's been putting a shift in too. But yeah,
Cook.
Crazy. Yeah, Lewis Cook. Good team.
But like you say though, on paper you don't look at the players and think
No,
he's your match winner.
100%.
I know.
Maybe Semenyo at a push, but the rest of the team, you don't look at anybody and think you're a star. Whereas if you look at, let's say, Brighton, for example, you probably look at Matoma, you would look at João Pedro, people like that. Villa, obviously, you've got Rogers, Watkins, stuff like that. But with Bournemouth, there's no real like one individual that people could maybe target, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
So
very fair.
yeah, they're another team I would like to see them finish where they are, maybe a little bit higher. But I think Bournemouth fans will probably be more than buzzing with where they're on the league table, because I don't think anyone would have predicted this for
No,
Bournemouth this
100%.
year. That could be me being
100%.
disrespectful to Bournemouth, but when you look at the other teams further down in the table and stuff like that, like you just wouldn't expect it.
No, I don't think that's. Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Anything else on Bournemouth?
Yeah, just hope they pick up 3 points today.
Who they got today? Oh, us. Oh yeah, us. We're the 12:30 kick-off as well. So moving on to Villa quickly. Yeah, quickly moving on to Villa. I'll cut that bit out. So we've got Villa. The 21 games played, won 10, drew 5, lost 6. So they've actually lost more than both Brighton and Bournemouth, which is interesting. Villa was always expecting a drop off, really, wasn't it? Because you've got the Champions League and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Emery's still got them well run. I think if they finish where they are now, I think it's still a positive season for them.
Yeah, I think we'll take it.
Yeah. They've got a few amazing players.
Ollie Watkins.
Rogers. Alex, was it you who mentioned Rogers
Yeah,
earlier?
I can finally get Rogers in the correct team, which is Villa. They're playing the same colour as West Ham.
Yeah,
easy
not
mistake
West
to
Ham.
make. Yeah, what a player. Yeah,
Claret
brilliant
and blue.
player. Claret and blue, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant player, good manager. Like you say, they've maybe just taken on a bit more than what they're usually used to, which can happen
They're
to
doing really
teams,
well in
can't
the
it?
Champions League, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're still in it. Yeah. Yeah.
They're quite high in that new table. I don't know. I don't get this new table process.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
I haven't seen it in a while, actually.
Don't even know what the Champions
Well,
League is, me.
Nah.
It's been a while.
Like, for us teams who've been there quite recent, Alex.
Oh God, man. Yeah.
But nah, I think Villa. I think their concentration will probably be having a decent performance in there, and then still getting a Europe spot. And I think that's a successful like season for Villa, really. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say on Villa. I just think they're another well-run team with one of the best managers in the league at the minute, I would say. I think Emery's a great manager. Arsenal fans might disagree, but yeah, I think for the team Villa is, I think he's a perfect fit for them. I think Arsenal fans' expectations were a lot higher for some reason, even though they haven't really won a European trophy ever, or a league in like 10 years. Well, over 10 years, and when was the last time they won the league? Was it the Invincible season?
Yeah.
Oh God, honestly, it's been
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I think the expectation of Emery was a bit too high, but obviously I'm sure he was the one that followed Wenger, so that was massive shoes to fill. It's like Moyes following Ferguson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think now Emery with Villa, I think fans might have expected a little bit better in regards to league table, but when you take in cup competitions and Champions League, I think if they finish where they are now, which I think they will, I think that's a successful season for them.
And yeah, I like their Onana. He's
He was amazing at Everton, you know.
He was.
Didn't see much of him. He's solid.
I wanted us to get him when he was at Everton because I think he would have fit our like midfield rotation at the time really well, but then he went to Villa. But yeah, he's a top player on. Then you've got Rogers, Tielemans coming back into form as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leon
Bailey.
Leon Bailey.
Really?
Yeah. Watkins, Duran. Yeah, mad. Have you seen what Villa's rated? Put a price tag on Duran for?
No.
Oh my God, no.
I was looking at it, the media, because I think one of the big teams want to potentially going for him, and they were like 100 mil. And if John Duran's 100 mil, God knows what Arsenal fans want to pay for Alexander Isak.
Jesus.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Christ.
You know,
I know.
it's so
When I read that, I was like, that can't be true. But
John Duran, 100 mil.
apart,
pay that, you know.
that's not confirmed, but that's
And
just what I
Napoli,
seen, on like media.
and and Napoli want to throw in a £50 million bid for Garnacho as well.
Nuts, innit?
Oh, piss off, man.
Yeah, man.
That's mental. No.
So City, I don't think anyone predicted City being where they are. Chico, I think you're probably the most happy out of all of us, even though it's your derby, Alex. But at least Liverpool's managed to have a chance for winning the league table this year.
This is going to be quite Chico orientated because obviously it's big for Liverpool this season. It's huge. The fact that they've just completely bottled it. I'm going to quickly, if you don't mind, nip to the toilet. And whilst I do that, I'm just going to say 115 charges, and then I'm going to let Chico carry on. All right?
Yeah, cool.
I'll be back in a sec.
You know what? On the charges, I saw because obviously they've put that they've got that player. How much for?
115 charges it was for.
No,
but doesn't look like
that player they've just signed. That player they've just signed. How much?
Oh.
I was thinking,
couldn't tell you.
If they're still doing that, I'm sure it's in the 100. If they're still doing that, like, I think they don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna get away with these charges. Like,
I don't think they're gonna get charged personally.
Yeah, I don't. If they're still putting in big bids like that, and Guardiola's still chilling, I don't know. But even
have you seen the Haaland?
Oh yeah, was it 9 years?
9.5. I thought they banned these contracts.
That's what I'm saying. If they're still doing that, they're not getting 115 charges.
Didn't they ban the long contracts after Chelsea done it?
They did that, yeah. I thought it was like 5 max. So
is that just for new signings then, do you think?
To
get
maybe.
Because obviously Haaland's is an extension, but then the new signings one, what Chelsea were doing for financial fair play, they were doing it for like 8 to 9 years. So then they could separate that over the years, like the installments, and it gets you around the financial fair play.
And also, I like the thing is, like, people are still counting City out. I was like, that's it. All Pep needs to do is go in that wallet of his, and he can change it around. Like I said,
thing is though, right, I'm not making excuses for City because I should still. Obviously, Rodri's a massive miss, but I've hated that argument. When I see like professional pundits and everything, say, but they're missing Rodri, stuff like that. You've got
everyone
team. I mean, not as much as Chelsea, but you've got this team of midfielders. You've got Gundogan. You've got Kovacic. Like you've got all these players who can't play there. Like, yeah, you don't have Rodri, but he shouldn't be an excuse for you not playing well. But another thing which obviously just came out in the media is Guardiola's obviously been dealing with stuff behind closed doors, hasn't he? Because he's just separated with his wife as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, she's.
So I think that's played a. Yeah, like I think that's played a massive part. I'm not making excuses. Like they should still be doing 10 times better in the league. But when people were like doing the memes of like his face and scratches and that, that stress of going through that whilst this with the team, that's got to take some sort of toll.
Yeah, that's a lot. But like I said, the team
will be loving it. Don't get us wrong.
Bro, like I've never you don't understand when Rodri torn that ACL, I had to check myself, and I was like you shouldn't feel this good about someone having a career, because especially the ACL, because even what people don't realize is that it's not he's not going to be the Rodri he was when he comes back. Not like an ACL can really change things from there.
I just don't understand why he hasn't just shifted formation a little bit and just went with two capable midfielders who can sit a little bit deeper to cover Rodri's miss, and then just play with a proper number 10.
All needs to do. And I think that's just it. The stubbornness and ego of someone like Guardiola, who's like, nah, I'm going to stick to my plan. It's worked for the past however many years, and I want to prove to everyone that he's still got it. But I think, and to be honest, he's had a mint run, but I think he's now being caught out. Especially now, he's not changed anything. He's brought out the checkbook, and like I said, like I said, I think well, they are picking up a bit of form, so I wouldn't count them out of that top three conversation. Like I said, just because even City have done that before, where they've dropped a bit. Because when Arsenal that season, when Arsenal were supposed to win it, like I said, City were figuring out, and then Pep just switched things on. But no, like I said, and that's why when we get to Liverpool, I'll share kind of more frustrations than my prayer, because like I said, if there's any chance that, like I said, we could do it, like everything is in our favour, and we're not at the minute, we're not capitalising on these teams' downfall, because like I said, this is like a dream come true. Even it got to a point where I actually, and I'm glad they didn't, but like last season, I wanted Arsenal to win the league just so City didn't. Nobody wants City to win the Premier like that. That's how bad it's got. Like I said, this guy has won so much. I'll even give the title to Arsenal and let their fan base run for that for the next 20 years. That's how much City is around things. So it's beautiful to see.
Be interested in second half of the season because they're picking up a little bit of form to see where they finish. I think they might just squeeze back in the Champions League spots maybe, but I think having a year out of Champions League spots will do them good. Moving on to Chelsea though, just because I'm conscious of the time as well. And Chelsea, 21 played, won 10, drew 7, lost 4. Alex, when we had the discussion at the start of the season, I think I put them in amongst me, like us, Villa, and Man U at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said basically anywhere from 5th to 3rd would be rotational. And that they were the 4 teams, like the 4 teams that I assumed. I think Cole Palmer hit the nail on the head where he said we're not title in the title league because we're all young and it's only the manager's first season. So I think the way they're playing it is very much how Newcastle are playing it in Eddie Howe, where we're not saying anything, but all it takes is for those top 2 teams to start dropping results and dropping points. So I think Chelsea, the way Maresca has managed Chelsea's players and everything like that as well, I think he's done it very well because, he was a bit of... I don't like how he handled some of the players at the start of the season, like dropping senior players to train with the under-21s and stuff like that, like Chalobah, which is weird because he's actually recalled Chalobah back as well because of defensive issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting one because he's been at Palace, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that he's now back at Chelsea. But I think they'll either creep back in a Champions League spot or they'll stay pretty much where they are. I think they've had a successful season, but I think in the summer they need to get rid of some of the players that they've got because they've got too many first name players that they can't keep happy.
Can you still
get
hear
it
me, by the
right?
way?
And,
I can now,
But I think Chelsea, 2 years time or even next season, that's when there'll be a problem. They've kind of got it figured out, and obviously Palmer's just
ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better.
Sancho as well, though. He's been playing well.
Sorry, sir.
I actually did think Chelsea would drop off, because they were absolutely killing it. But looking over like the last couple of games, I mean, draw at Everton, lost to Fulham, lost to Ipswich, drew against Palace, drew against Bournemouth, and then they play on Monday. So they've dropped a lot of points there. Everyone, when they were absolutely firing on all cylinders, I think a lot of people thought they'd be just continue killing it. But you mentioned there about the bigger players and the way that you manage them. I think when it starts getting to crunch time and some of the games become more and more important, because they've got so many big personalities in there, I think you'll struggle
100%
to manage those personalities. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to give Chelsea too much credit because if you throw fucking £1 billion at
ridiculous.
what do you respect, man. You should be fucking
Yeah.
finishing first. Like, it's mental.
You were away, Alex, but we were just on about Haaland's new deal, 9.5 year. Say obviously for new players, the contracts and everything must be different extensions because they banned the over 5 year contracts for new signings, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, did any of you know what the difference is between an extension and not? Because obviously 9.5 years is a long time to tie a player down.
I've no idea, but I know it's something to do with trying to work against like the whole,
That's what I was saying because they split it over installments, don't they, over the years,
yeah, and that's what Chelsea have done with like their
all
entire
the
team,
players.
haven't
But
they?
then they're not now though because half the players they brought in on those stupid contracts aren't performing.
I know.
So now they're trying to get rid of them, but they're not going to get the money back.
That's the risk they've taken. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on quickly from Chelsea then, and go to the most informed team in the Premier League at the minute.
The two. Go on.
So Newcastle, what is it now? I think we've won 9 games in a row. Alexander in the Premier League, that is not including cup games. May I add? 11 all in. Isaac, 8 Premier League games in a row. He's scored. He's coming for Van Nistelrooy and 40, I think.
Yeah.
Today, I think today's game is the big one. I think if he scores against Bournemouth today, I think he's got a really good chance because I don't think our fixtures are actually too bad.
Yeah, you've got
going forward.
Hampton
You've had your heart.
Yeah, so I think if we can get over Bournemouth, I think there's a very high chance that you can do it. But I mean, I can't see us losing games, but it's Newcastle in it. Like as things go well, we seem to do something that penalises us. That's why, if I'm being honest, I thought we were going to lose midweek because all the results went our way in the Prem. So I really thought that we were going to drop points, but we haven't. It's just frustrating because the start of the season,
Yeah,
I don't know how many of our games were shit.
Yeah, I remember, and I was like, I think you guys have because even your excuse last thing was Champions League and all that, and those extra games. I was like, now, like I said, you should really hit the ground running. And then when it wasn't working, I was like, oh man, this might be like a problem. And then call out. I don't know if it was you personally, but some of your fans I heard Eddie out and shit like that.
I heard this too. It was all over
like,
Twitter.
I was like, that is.
It was, wasn't it?
It was
like, that's
all
the
over.
dumbest thing ever, and I hope the people said that feel stupid.
I've never said
weird.
Eddie Howe out, by the way. Like, I've never said Eddie Howe out because even, do you know, when the first 2 games were played awful, but we picked up points, and I was like, a good team plays shit and gets points. And then we switched it up. We played really well. I think, we dropped points, we lost against Chelsea and Brighton, I think. And we actually played really well in them 2 games, we just we had nothing in the final third. And Alexander Isak, for the first 6 games, I would like to say, I said it was appalling. Like, I probably wouldn't have gave him like the full 90s and stuff like that because I just don't think he was working out. But then something switched. I don't know whether it's solely because he's done the switch with Bruno and Tonali and playing Bruno slightly higher and Tonali in the 6. Because even when he was starting Tonali, he was playing him as the 8 and Bruno in the 6. And surely it shouldn't make too much of a difference. But ever since he's done that switch, there's just been I think Bruno's like in the final third, it brings like a lot that people don't technically see. But yeah, I think the midfield 3 is so aggressive and athletic, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Joe Linton should be done for GBH half the time.
Yeah, he gets away.
We need a right winger desperately, and we need some cover as a centre back, right-sided centre back as well, because I'm not comfortable playing 2 left footers there. But so far it's working out. Lewis Hall, by the way, player of the season. I think he's arguably been one of the best left backs in the league, especially
how old
England.
is he?
He's 20.
Wow, that's class.
He's a good player.
Yeah, Chelsea's dropped the bollock there because Livramento and Hall as a duo, yeah. Lewis Hall's so balanced as well. Like, he's really good on the ball. Livramento's a little bit different. He's more up and down rather than ball play. But I think Livramento was so good at both ends of the pitch as well. I'd be shocked if both of them on shoo-ins for the international team, if I'm being honest. Especially Hall at left back, because I think there's only Arsenal's left back that's probably giving them a play. Alex keeps dropping out, so I'm just going to continue, and then he can just come in whenever he comes back in.
Nah,
But
man,
yeah,
you should be very happy with the way things are going. Like I said,
but we didn't have such a bad start. We would have literally been up there like with views.
that must be
Like
the frustrating part.
so frustrating.
Yeah,
But obviously Tonali 10-month out.
yeah.
Yeah.
And even that's what, because what we were hoping for with, because Tim 10 months out was great. So I said, now, like, hopefully he comes back and struggles a bit. And now I was like, oh, he's still a baller. He's still a baller. That's like one of the like best signs. Like I said, of like the team, the part like that was like we would dream of a Tonali or a Bruno.
Gravenberch's been good for you, though.
Oh, he's.
We'll get on to him though, but yeah.
Are we still on Newcastle?
Yeah, I was going to move, but have you got something to add?
I lost connection. My internet's been terrible today, but yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of the Toon. Obviously, a lot of my pals are Toon fans since moving up here, and my father-in-law and brother-in-law. So when we get together, we like to discuss football. So I watch a lot of the Newcastle games. I'll be watching them in 45 minutes' time as well. And they're so... It's annoying as hell.
It is.
Yeah. I get battered in group chats every day.
Yeah.
But I can only fucking say good things. It's so consistent. It's so like...
We've got with style of play back, don't we, which we were missing at the start of the season.
It's a team, and all credit to Eddie for creating that there, because everyone's playing for each other.
Mad that we're going to do the treble this season, isn't it?
Shut the fuck up.
This is where you start.
I tell you what, if you win the treble, I'll do this next fucking podcast in me pants.
Ari Lineker. That's a joke, by the way. I don't actually think
it's so consistent, and they've been so good. You can't really... What can you say? I expect you to win today. Yeah. I expect you to win against Fulham. I expect you to win against Southampton.
We'll probably lose against Southampton.
Like you said, I don't actually know where the loss comes.
Yeah.
So you should play a trophy though.
Fair play to you.
I would really like to win the Carabao Cup this year.
Yeah, I think it's about.
That means now that.
Hey, a Spurs Newcastle final would be the only time where a game gets abandoned and no team wins a trophy.
I love that. I saw someone actually call it the El Desperatico.
It'd be a good final, wouldn't it? Because the trophy would probably mean more to us than it would to Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah,
definitely. And you are winning the Prem anyway, so just let somebody else win the trophy. You know what I mean?
I can't see. I'll be honest though. I can't see Spurs doing anything at Anfield. So
I think it's a Liverpool Newcastle because I can't see Arsenal doing anything at St James's.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to Forest, guys, because I am really conscious of the time. And obviously, very important game to get to at 12:30.
Yeah.
Forest 21, won 12, drew 5, lost 4.
Absolutely mental.
Chris Wood, Ballon d'Or.
Oh, mate. Chris Wood.
What else?
What a ball.
Basically, Forest are just coming for our players. That's what it is. We're helping Forest at this point.
Forest.
Where were Forest last year? Where did they finish?
I had low down, I think, like mid-table, weren't they?
When we were playing them, I was like, there's no way this is the same, unless I missed something. I was like, should we, like, why are we struggling against this team? Like, this isn't normal, mate. Like, they're just...
They're phenomenal.
Yeah. They're absolutely brilliant. Elanga,
yeah.
Unreal.
How again,
Hudson-Odoi
being a terrorist, how he was bringing in bloody Elanga, getting rid of Elanga and bringing Anthony in. Like you said, Chris Wood, Murillo. Like,
do you know what I think's funny? Spurs, right? Their transfer thing must just be look at players, right, who were decent players but not get a minute and just go for them because Hudson-Odoi, Chelsea, Elanga, Man U,
Elliot Anderson,
Newcastle, Chris Wood, Newcastle,
Nico Williams, brilliant
Nico
player.
Williamson. Yeah, where was he? Liverpool? Was he
Yeah.
Liverpool?
I believe so, potentially.
Nico Williams.
Gibbs White, brilliant player. Like it's,
Gibbs. Oh, shout out Gibbs White. By the way, if his position wasn't like abundance of talent in England, he would be a starter.
he's fine.
But
And also, what about bloody Matt Sells turning into prime Neuer?
that's what I'm saying. They're just
Sells,
taking Newcastle players off of me.
it's mental, mate. It's
Elliot Anderson, he was played for Houston, didn't
He
yeah,
was class for us. Yeah.
yeah.
But to be fair though, this is another thing. I did not want to get rid of Anderson because I think he's a very, very good footballer. But I don't think
he? He would
he
score.
would have got the minutes at us. And
No, that's it.
yeah, and if I'm being honest, I prefer Miley in the system that we play.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
I get that.
I think football, especially player-wise, for a player to show how good they are, the system has to suit them as much as them being a good player. And I think Elliot Anderson thrives more when he's playing as a 10. But obviously for Forest, he plays a lot as an 8 because obviously you've got Gibbs White there. But yeah, he was never getting in as an 8 over Joe Linton, Tonali or Gameras, was he really, for Newcastle? So we were using him like out wide left and stuff like that, and I think he was just wasted out there. So yeah, massive miss to Newcastle, but I can kind of understand the sale at the same time, and I think it's probably been the best thing for his career as well.
Yeah, Nico
Yeah.
Williams was solid.
Yeah. Overall, like they're another team where across the full pitch they've got very capable bodies, and like the rest of the teams below them, they're a team on there. Like everyone always works for each other, from what we can see. So hats off to Forest and
Nuno.
is it Nunes?
Nuno.
Yeah, Nuno.
Like Nuno, like it's mental because I was thinking about this the other day. Like if Liverpool probably going to win the league, but if that happens and Forest manage to clinch like European football, let's say for example they do manage to do the unthinkable and they actually get a Champions League place.
Yeah.
Who does manager of the season go to? Does it go to Slot for winning the league, or does it go to Nuno for securing Champions League?
For me,
I'll let
Go on,
you
Chico.
guys answer that first.
for me, do you know what? I didn't even have Slot in my contentions for manager of the season. In reason being is because I only had 2 in mind, and one was, is it Areola in charge of Bournemouth?
Yeah,
And the other one was Nuno at Forest, because I think for the squads they have as well,
true.
and for where they're on the table.
Yeah.
And Slot, I think he's done a lot better than every new Liverpool fan was expecting.
Yeah.
And
I think everyone in football,
yeah,
I don't think
And-
we're expecting much this season.
if he wins a Prem, I wouldn't begrudge him winning manager of the season. But I think going off squads and what they've managed to do with the squads that they've got available with them,
Yeah.
I think it has to go to Nuno if they finish in the top, like even in the top 5. But yeah, I think
It's
because
just
of
one
what
of
they've got
those-
available.
Yeah, it's just one of those you think about. Like it goes to Slot because he will
Yeah.
get given it. If he wins the league, he will get given it. But you
Oh, 100%. First season, yeah.
If Forest like do that, like that's insane. But yeah, good, fair play to
Your
him.
thoughts on that, Chico?
No, 100%. Like I said, after Tuesday, I was like, okay, this is a serious team. It's not like, because even a lot of people try to, and even they'll still try and discredit if we do win the league. They'll be like, only because City dropped off, and like I said, Arsenal have been serious from that. So, but I was like, you need to give credit to, like I said, Nottingham Forest. I was like, mate, like they're there for a reason. The results they've been getting, and like I said, like I said, that was like, I think one of our hardest games this season. I think
Yeah,
that's the
beating Forest isn't for everyone, mate. It's okay.
so like I said, you've got to give them it, and I think we can keep it up. Like I said, I don't know what their run is, the next couple of games, but like I said, especially if they're like, because they're good at, because even at our game, like they parked once they scored, once we went 1-0 up, they were happy to park that bus for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And that game,
But you would, though, innit?
yeah, but then they're actually good at it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a risky game to play, especially when you're against a team with good attackers. that's when you can be caught up. But like, if they can keep that up and also score, like I said, why won't they have a Champions League spot next season? And
Definitely.
and like I said, and their players that they have, I don't see them I don't see them going anywhere. Do you know how we were talking about like Brighton, where they'll have a player and then they'll, like I said, they'll sell him off and get that profit. But if I'm a Langans, I was like, bro, like stick it out, bro. Like you can do something with this team. Obviously, Chris Wood, he's a bit older. I know he's in his 30s and things like that. But like,
goes back to what I was saying earlier, innit? Like, what's the attraction with these big six teams now? Like, there's none really, is there? So it's like Isak to Arsenal. So moving on to like the Arsenal side of things, they're on about wanting to try get an Isak, and I know the fans have been putting stuff out there and stuff. But if you're Alexander Isak, you're looking at Arsenal. They've played 21, won 12, drew 7, lost 2, and they're only 2 positions above us in the league title. Well, in the league, sorry, in 5 points above us. So if you're Isak, what you're looking at? You're looking at someone who's got a slightly better chance of winning something. Mm-hmm. But are they actually going to win the league with obviously City, Liverpool, Chelsea's on the up again? The league seems to be balancing itself out for the first time in years with how close the competition is amongst all the teams. And where you're going to be more like respected, and I think if he stays at Newcastle, he's probably going to be like more chance of being like a legend of the club staying here. Mm-hmm. And he's on 15 goals this season for Newcastle. So him and Gordon have struck up a relationship in recent weeks. Even him and Murphy have been combining loads, which is a shock to everybody. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think Arsenal. I don't think they'll get him for what they think that. Well, the fans especially think that they'll want to pay.
They can't afford him.
Yeah.
And let's not get it twisted. He walks into every single team, probably in Europe.
Out and out the best on form, best striker, like footballing as well.
I've got no issues with that. I mean, the only other person rivaling him in terms of consistency and just how fucking good he is, as much as it pains to say it, is Mohamed Salah.
Thing is though, I know we're going back to Newcastle a little bit, have you seen how many one-on-one chances Isak misses?
No, I don't know.
So I counted, when we had like a run of games we were playing midweek and everything. So in 3 games in a row, he missed 4 one-on-ones, like with the keeper, like not players around him, like through on goal.
Yeah, now that you mention it, there has been a few like that.
And I've said it all season, even before he got on his goal scoring run. I was like, if he finishes the simple ones, his goal tally will be through the roof. But I'm pretty sure he's only like 25 as well, so he's got plenty of years left in him. So
it's all about stats now these days, and like that extra 5 goals, what you're saying, and when to put him from a 15-goal season.
It's a golden boot, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can put anything, you can demand any contract. And put in any price tag. It's mad.
Arsenal, do you think... I want to speak more about Arteta than Arsenal, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do anything this season, is his job on the line?
It's crazy.
They're underachieving, come on, at this point.
It's crazy. It's crazy because he's really turned around like kind of the club over the years, I think. I think he's done a really, really good job. But if you're not, like, come on, 5 years in, FA Cup, Carabao.
Do you know what? I understand the Premier League thing though, because City, for those years when Arsenal were competing up there, City would like blow people away with points. Like even Chico, when Hughes finished on 99 points or something, and City had 100 and something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah. So you feel for them in that aspect, but surely domestic cup wise, like Arsenal should be pushing more for that and doing more in the Champions League at this point and stuff like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think what he's done's good, but he needs to be doing better. I always have a running joke in our group chat with my mates, and you can clip this, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a better manager than Mikel Arteta.
That's rough. That is rough,
That's,
mate.
that's mad. You know.
I'm not gonna go that far.
Anyway,
That's-
moving on.
How's a better coach than Arteta, though? I will put that out there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he was in the run for. Remember the talks of him going to England, like,
Yeah.
which
Do you know what's your thoughts on that? With how, by the way, about him not getting interviewed by England? There was 10 coaches interviewed, and not one was Howe.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
would you
odd.
want him?
No.
No, well, obviously I wouldn't want him
Oh,
to,
right.
but you would think that he's arguably the best English manager, so you would have thought you would have been at least approached, but apparently he wasn't even approached.
Oh, right. I thought that was the whole. I thought he was. So he actually never got approached in the end.
Nah,
Because my whole point was that, like, I hope
goes.
he doesn't do it because he's got something going here. I think down the line I could definitely see that for him, but like
Yeah.
he's got something good with Newcastle and he can actually do something for the city. Never mind just the club. So I would say that's too early in his career. But yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. They didn't even at least give him a text. You know what I mean? Just say that. That's quite bad.
But yeah, Arsenal, I think they need they need a striker. Like,
Yeah,
let's be honest.
That's, they're crying out for it.
That's
Saka's out injured. They can't rely on him and Odegaard all the time, and this Martinelli's dropped off as well, though. Like,
I've never liked him. You know, I've never rated him. Odegaard, stick. Havertz. I don't know why they're trying to convince themselves that he's a striker. That like they and do you know this? Arsenal like actually. I don't actually have a lot of Arsenal fan mates, but like they're just all over my Twitter and that. Like they still believe in Havertz, you know.
Yeah, I know.
it's nuts, man.
I know. It's crazy. He the amount of chances he had against us when we dunked him out the FA Cup last week. Like it's just, yeah, he's not for me. Like he's not for me.
He missed one on the goal line, didn't he, as well? Like, yeah, it's nuts, man. Yeah. Arsenal, I think, are going to struggle. I don't really see the attraction there anymore from a player standpoint. Even if Arteta's job was on the line, I can't see who they would bring in. Like,
I think that's
they would probably go Thomas Frank in that, but if I'm Thomas Frank, I'm looking at Brentford and I'm looking at Arsenal and I'm thinking, other than pay, obviously, and money, what's going to be the massive difference? But I've got a funny feeling Arsenal might probably stick by Arteta and kind of he's like their new Wenger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't really see them sacking him. I think, if anything, he'll walk away before he gets sacked. But yeah, at what point do Arsenal fans kind of start calling for it? Because they were quite harsh on Wenger in that season.
towards the end, it's mad.
Do you remember all the fans were like, Arteta out constantly? But what he's done, I think.
He's changed the club massively. But yeah, I think if he doesn't win anything next season, I think his job will be massively under speculation by fans.
Yeah, agreed.
So current top of the league leaders, Chico, this is probably going to be more you. Liverpool won 14, drew 5, and only lost one game. And who was the one game against?
Forest, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At home as well, you know. Anfield and did that.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Be 2 defeats after the day after my team Brentford wins.
Your team, remember? Boy, the thing is, it looks class on paper, but like when you dissect it, we've got a lot to do. If the Prem is remember we're still in every competition. We've got this contract situation with Van Dijk, Salah, and what's it called, Trent. Clearly, we're not going to sign anyone. Obviously we tried the Zubimendi thing, flopped. I don't any talk since then. So like I said, we're one injury away from being back to square one. Remember last season we were talking quadruple and all that. We're in the same position, but like, have you heard? We've not said anything like that this season because we know how it plays out.
He's doing well in the Champions League as well, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Class run. We obviously when we beat Leverkusen 4-0, I think people forget because they're on another good run there. Like,
To be fair though, the Prem now I would say is Liverpool's to lose, but
nah, it
it's
isn't. No, it isn't.
it's the everything going on in the background though is what's going to probably hinder it is because Onslaught's got to be thinking at some point like, who am I going to replace Salah with? Who am I going to replace Van Dijk with? Who am I going to replace Trent with? Because I know you've got, is it Bradley?
Bradley, yeah, Curtis Jones, but nah, like I said, we win, and there's literally
Curtis Jones, by the way, has been phenomenal this season.
Curtis Jones, like I said, Harvey, even though Slot's been a bit funny with Harvey Elliott, he doesn't play him as much as I would like him to because they tried to have some rumours of like Dortmund wanting to pick him up because he's not getting the minutes. And like I said, I don't like obviously as well. Newcastle, you've been in with your directors. The FSG thing, like I said, they just I don't know, man. They just won't give us the money to buy, which is nuts. Because even that's what we're talking about. And there's still things like Jota. He's apparently picked up some sort of injury. He's not fully fit. Nunez. There's two types of Liverpool fans. You either love Nunez, or like you just like me, kind of getting a bit sick of him because it's always the case that now just give him time.
How much time?
I don't know. I don't know what more we can do from that one. But then, like I said, Robertson as well. Like I said, his legs are gone, which is fine. People trying to give him a bit of stick, and I was like, no, mate. Like he's been one of the best left backs, and he's won everything with us. Like if his legs are gone. Like it's fair play, but there should be a plan for that.
You're going to have a huge summer.
Yeah, big summer.
I don't. If you do win the league this season, I can't say you beat. If you do, hats off to you. But I think if nobody signs the contracts, and then with Robertson like kind of dropping off now, you're going to have to sign like 4.
There's a lot
big capable players,
and we've never really been able to do that. Like I said, we only got I think was it when Van Dijk and Thien came. That was when we did the big deal with Coutinho. Like we have to do these big we have to pretty much, like I said, sell and get them. That's why.
We're Salah.
Yes, well. That's why even last season, when Salah was still in contract, I just assumed Saudi were just gonna. Get him. Cause I was like, if we really want cash, I was like, him and Van Dijk are the ones to cash in on, and
but you're losing 3 huge players on frees.
Like I said, there. Like, so that's where's the money going to come from? When, like I said, that is the solution. To that. So, like I said, it is great, and to be honest, I know all of you count this out, like because the excuse was Slot's taken over. Like an aging Klopp team, everyone's supposed to be they're like obviously Salah's just a monster, and he gets better as he gets older, which is mad. But like even if you ask me as a Liverpool fan at the start of the season, what did you expect? Did she just top 4? Give Slot some time. Like I said, I really didn't see this coming. It's great, and like. Now think about what if Slot does win it for a season, like his expectations are going to be through the roof. Like I think it's actually like it's a very
if you win it this year, you can't expect it next year. If I'm being honest, I think it'll be a totally different season.
I think it'll put him in because, like I said, when Klopp came, he was like I said, he gave him time to build. And like I said, with Europa, we lost our Champions League final. Then won it. Then it was a nice thing. So, like I said, you'd think I'd be sitting here being sitting back, relaxing. I'm really not. Like that's what I'm saying. This game against Brentford, I'm acting like this is City. Yeah, like I said, like that's how I look at these. Like these games is
Yeah.
where we'll look back this end of the season, been like it was at that point. It was at not where, like I said, thinking it, but we're not going to give it to Arsenal. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll promise you that. Like I said, I think City have got more of a chance of just
And also,
thinking of like, the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like that's not happening. I think we've still
Sweet.
got to play them.
I'm not sure. I don't know what the rest
We
of
do
the
so. Like I
season
said,
is.
so that might be actually a big game coming up. But like I said, we're doing well in the Champions League. We'll probably see yous in the final, the Carabao. So we do need to really pick our battles. I think last time, obviously Klopp announced that this time last year he was leaving. So we were like, oh, well, we want to win everything for him. I think now, as well as doing, we're a bit smart, even though, like I said, a bit more depth would be quite nice. But I think I'd be delusional if I expected to get all of these trophies and do the Prem. Personally, I would rather the Prem because you guys discount the last Prem we won for some reason. we were like 20 points ahead by this time, but if that's the case, Fairs will win it properly this
season, you know,
and then we can talk. I'm happy with everything. We just need to spend right, nobody get injured, and we rely on Salah a lot as well because if you notice, like when Salah plays bad, or like I said, when he's not playing, that's when these how many draws did you say we got? Because that's
5.
5. Yeah, that's one. We've had a few silly little draws where we should have got 3 points, and like I said, it's those games where we look at Salah to be like, just do something, and he's one man playing playing on the wing when we're supposed to have these Nunes and Jota with that. But you mentioned before as well, Gravenberg. What a
phenomenal.
What a guy.
So we'll end on the review there. I think.
Nah, man, I want
there's been a few.
One guys to say something nice. Hey.
My final thought on that. My final thought on Liverpool. Right. Oh man.
Shit houses, a lot of them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you did give Ahmad some praise, so I'm just gonna stick by my Mohamed Salah praise and how brilliant he is. I can't speak for Robertson or Trent because I can't stand them. As good a players as they have been, and listen, I've got no problems if you want to let Arsenal take the league, bro. Honestly, I've got no issues. I've got no issues with that whatsoever. And unfortunately, in that Carabao final, I might have to even whip the Shearer shirt out. You know.
Yes, Alex. I love that. So on that, final league predictions then. Come on then, top Alex, you first.
Liverpool,
who's finishing top 4?
Yeah, Liverpool to win the league. Arsenal second. I think Forest will slip down ever so slightly. I can see City taking third place. Chelsea, Newcastle.
It's a tough one, actually.
I'm going to go Chelsea, and I'm going to put you 5th, which I know is mad.
I don't mind it. I
know it's mad. That they would be my top 4. Where I'm not even. We're not talking about us.
So who's getting relegated, Alex?
I think it is going to be the teams that we've actually already discussed. I think it's going to be Southampton. I think it's going to be Leicester, and I do think it will be Ipswich. As much as I'd rather it was another team over Ipswich, I think they will.
Yeah. Chico, top 4.
Top 4. Liverpool, I think, will still do it. Arsenal, second place where they belong. They belong. 3 and 4. City. Nah, the
It's
two,
hard for this fourth spot, isn't it?
the two will do it now. Man, yeah,
It's
man.
one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, you guys will do it. I don't know if you guys necessarily want to be back in the Prem. I mean the Champions League, but I think you're going to end up in that spot, accidentally. Well, bottom three was definitely Southampton, definitely Leicester, and then was it? Yeah, Ipswich or Wolves. Yeah, I think it'd still be Ipswich. I think Everton is going to scrape it, like they always do.
Yeah.
From there.
Come on then, Callum.
So for me, Liverpool, I
First
think,
place,
win.
Newcastle.
No. First place, Liverpool. As much as I would love to see them drop off, second place, Arsenal. Third place, I would love it to be us. Do I be ambitious?
Do it, man.
So it's not the same.
Go for it.
Fuck it. Newcastle third because football's a momentum and confidence game.
True.
So as long as we don't get injuries, I think we could nip third. But at the start of the season, I just want to clarify, as Alex can vouch for, I said fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
Fourth, I'd love it to be Forest, but I think it'll be City.
Yeah.
And then Chelsea fifth. But like you say, I can't see. I just don't know where Forest drop points. Have just been so consistent throughout the full season. So yeah, it'll be interesting. In bottom three, unfortunately, I think it is going to be Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich. However, if Wolves don't get the background sorted and settled, then I think there's a very high chance they could actually slip in that relegation and Ipswich stay up. But like I say, I think Wolves have got the better players to stay afloat. So with that being said, boys, thank you for coming on. Bit longer than what we expected at the 2 hour mark. So Alex, I do apologise for that because I said an hour and a half. But yeah, thank you for coming on. For the audience, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you're listening on a streaming platform, give us a follow and a 5-star review. Catch you all later.
In a bit, boys. Enjoy.